All right, so welcome everybody to our call this week. It is Wednesday, what is it, the 5th or the 6th of April, somehow. But this month is incredible. I'm sure we are all well aware of this special that's happening this month, but just in case you're not, I'm just going to quickly share. First, I think Carl has officially lost his mind a little bit because we can offer the All Access Challenge Pack for $160. So I don't know if some of you guys may have started with that All Access Challenge Pack, and I'm jealous of you because it's amazing. But for a lot of us, before that was an option, we would pay anywhere from $140 to $200 for a single program plus the shakes. So you are getting every single program plus the 3 ones they're announcing or releasing this year and 30 meals of Shakeology for $160. Like, that completely blows my mind, but it also just makes me love this company and Carl like that much more, because think of how many more people we can serve and help and inspire and like get into good routines for a year with this. Like, that just goes to show how big of a heart he has and how like he's willing to give that to us to give to other people. Like, that's just amazing to me. So definitely, make sure you're sharing that with people and offering it to, anyone who's had interest before, or just basically anyone and everyone who you feel like this would help, because it's just literally the best deal ever. And if you haven't listened to, the National Wake Up Call from this week yet with Shalene, definitely listen to it, because she gives some really, really good ideas on how to share it. Like, you don't want to just come out like saying like, oh, you can get this, this, and this for this amount. And like, there's ways ways to share it that are really, more powerful and more inspiring than just kind of throwing out numbers and stuff like that. So she is amazing at explaining that. So definitely listen to that if you haven't. But what I'm super excited about is our guest speaker tonight. So Miss Jennifer Thompson, she's a part of Fit Mama. She's one of Candace's coaches. And what's really awesome about her is she may like explain a little bit more. I'm just going to kind of give like a quick background, but she was one of Candace's free leads. So just remember that when you have, free customers or free leads and stuff like that, that's why like Jenna, she is amazing. So this is why you want to keep reaching out and connecting with your free customers. Because what's so cool about this business is once you hit Emerald rank and you're hitting Success Club every month, you get these free customers and free leads into your business. And that's just another person that you can help. And they're not always going to answer you right away. But Jen is a perfect example of why you want to keep reaching out and connecting and trying to build a relationship with that person no matter what. A little bit more about her. She is a lifetime diamond coach. She's the creator of Team Freedom Forward Empire, which is an awesome team name, by the way. She's a wife and a mom of 4. She is a grandmother of 3 and a fur mama of 4 pups. Oh my goodness. And she is in the lovely Austin, Texas, which I'm super jealous about. But anyway, let me unmute her so she can take it away.
Thank you, Jackie, so much. That was awesome introduction. I feel all special. Guys, thank you so much for having me on tonight. I'm really excited to kind of share some of these thoughts with you. And I want to explain a little bit why this topic. So I'm talking about kind of breaking out of our shell. And, this isn't really just about new coaches. Like, we can have been in the business for a while and still have this as something that we struggle with. And I want to kind of explain a little bit why this is so near and dear to me. So as Jackie said, I'm a lifetime diamond coach. I've been working this business for about 20 months. And so you hear a lot of these stories about, oh my gosh, like somebody's making six figures in the first year and all this kind of stuff. And the first thing I want to point out is this business is not about how fast and how much you can do in a certain period of time. It's all about growing at your own pace. When I started as a coach, so first of all, yes, I was a free lead. Candace had reached out to me, guys, for 2 years. 2 years. She sent me messages. She sent me emails. I never responded. It was like one of those things. I even opened half of the stuff that she sent me, but she kept at it. And I was at a point in my life when I was at rock bottom. I was overweight. I was out of shape. I was miserable. I was bankrupt. My marriage was falling apart. My husband had lost his job. Had lost his job after 23 years of being self-employed. He was going through depression. I was working 3 jobs to try to keep a roof over our heads and food on my kids' table. And so I remember coming home one night, and this was after working whatever shift I was working. I was waiting tables as one of my jobs, and it was probably 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was going to bed and I was winding down, and here comes this commercial for Body Beast. And I'm like, I need to do this. And my husband thought I was crazy. I had no money. And I spent like the last $60 I had in my bank account to buy this program. Not even joking. And I did this, guys, because I was at a point and I said, if I don't do something for myself, if I don't start making a change for me, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. I was really at that point where I was falling completely apart. And I had been fit and into health, before, but I never really kind of stuck with anything. So long story short, guys, that's kind of how that was the big program that I started with. And again, I started with that program and I started seeing results, but the same thing that always happened is I fell off. I didn't finish. I didn't follow the eating program, and I was at the same spot. And I just remember going one night, like falling apart and going, oh my God, please, like, what am I supposed to do with my life? How am I going to, like, just give me a sign, like something, show me something. And the very next day, I got a text message from Candace. So that gives me chills, guys, because you just never know when it's going to be the right time for somebody. So she reached out for me for 2 years, and I never responded. And I would just happen to be at the wrong place in my life, or the right place in my life, whatever you want to call, however you want to look at it. And that's how I connected. So that's how I connected. She put me in an accountability group. I started following my program again and actually sticking with it. I started following the nutrition guide, which is something I'd never really done before, was getting crazy results, and I was happier. And even though my life was still a disaster, I was becoming happier. And so Candace is like, why are you not coaching? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I can't even talk to people. Like, waiting tables for me, like, made me break out in hives almost, because I had to talk to people. Like, it was one of those things, guys, where I was like, I wanted to be in the back row all the time. I didn't want people to notice me. I would walk down the street and like not look at anybody. You name it, anything to take the attention off of me, away from me, and where people did not know that I existed. That's where I was. That's who I wanted to be. I didn't want anybody to know me at all. So breaking out of your shell in this business, that's why this is so personal to me, because I've had to overcome a lot of doubts and fears and anxiety and all this stuff about putting yourself out there, because what we do as coaches is we share our lives, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, the everything, right? And we tell stories. And I didn't even have Facebook, guys. I didn't even have a Facebook account. I didn't know how to. I got a Facebook account strictly for the purpose of following my accountability group that Candace put me in. She had to show me how to set one up. I didn't even have Facebook. And I had no friends. I had like 5 Facebook friends when I started this. So thinking of that, like I could make a business out of this. I'm like, I thought she was absolutely crazy. But, I said, okay, one day I said, okay, I'm going to try this. I know how much better I feel and how in the short period of time this has changed me. I'm like, maybe I can help people. And of course, here we go with the PD, right? Started personal development and all this kind of stuff. And slowly over time, guys, I changed. So when I want to backtrack for a second. So when I said that like this business isn't a race, it's not. So I took a long time for me to get to diamond and to grow my business because I had to overcome myself. I had to break free of my fears, and I had to learn how to be comfortable with myself and who I was and love myself and all of these things that you don't, when you go on social media. I'm like, I just didn't want people to see me. I thought they were going to make fun of me. I thought it was like, nobody's going to want to join my challenge group. Like, who's going to want to follow me, right? Those are fears that, and I think a lot of people have those, even if you didn't have the same issues that I did. I still think those are legitimate fears for new coaches. And sometimes for not so new coaches, you still have those issues. So that's a little bit about my background. Sorry. I have a tendency to talk a lot, so Jackie, like, cut me off if I need to. So I want to give you guys some tips on kind of breaking out of your shell, getting out of your comfort zone. And when I say that, I want to say more of like, it's not necessarily getting out of your comfort zone, it's expanding your comfort zone, right? Let's expand our comfort zone. Because that's where we learn and that's where we grow. And it's those scary things, those hard things that push us to be better. And those are the things that actually help inspire us, right? Like you do something that's a little hard or that you've never done before. And then you're like, whoa, like I did that. That's pretty cool. And it builds confidence. So the more that you do smaller things to kind of break, expand that scary zone that you're in, the more and the faster that you're going to grow as a person. So I want to give you guys some tips on this. So first thing, when you guys are posting, telling a story, doing live video, which if you guys have not done live, like do it. I'm telling you, live is like where it's at. Like people hear you and they feel you and they like, that's where they connect with you on live. So if you guys aren't doing live, like that's homework number one, is you need to start doing some live videos. And they don't have to be long. They can be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, like whatever. And it doesn't have to be anything major. You can talk about, something, a quick, easy snack that you like, or, what your crazy dog did that day, or your kids, or you can talk about a workout or whatever. So just anything at all, like, but it doesn't have to be long, but just make it you. So when you guys are doing this, when you're doing your posting and when you're talking on video, I want you to talk and like, don't think about like, because one of the things for me is like, oh my God, there's like thousands of people out there. No, I want you to sit and I want you to think about like, you are talking to your very best friend. Like you're just sitting there going, hey girl, what's going on? Like, you know what, the craziest thing happened to me today, and I just could not wait to share this with you. Talk like you are talking to one of your best girlfriends. And it, one, takes kind of that fear away, but then you're more real, you're you, right? And that's who people want, is they want you. So talk like you're talking to your best friend. Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but I seriously want you guys to do this, okay? So tip number 2 is I want you, as much as possible every day, to smile, make eye contact, and smile with every single person you see. Like seriously, guys. And you know why that is? One, it can spark a conversation, and that conversation doesn't have to go into Beachbody. I'm talking about just building a relationship, just saying hi to somebody. You don't know what that little conversation that you have with somebody, how that can totally change their life. Completely and drastically change their life. Not only that, guys, but it builds confidence because you get used to interacting with people. I never interacted with people. I wouldn't. I was scared to death to talk to people. So just doing the small thing of like smiling, saying hello, opening the door for somebody, like complimenting them on their shoes, like whatever it is that you know, sparks a conversation. And even if it doesn't, even if it's just like a hi, how are you? What a beautiful day, isn't it? That's it. Just start. Just smile and have eye contact with every person that you meet. Okay. Number 3. Okay. Do it often. Don't be afraid to fail, and let it go. So think about that for a minute. Okay. Do it often. Don't be afraid to fail, and let it go. So it's kind of like riding a bike, guys. This is a learning process, right? So I want you to think about this. When you first had your first bicycle, okay, and you're a little kid and you're excited, but you're scared all at the same time, and you get on your bike and maybe you have training wheels and you're wobbling all over the place and you're scared and dad or mom's holding on to the back of your bike, and like slowly though, what happens? You may fall, probably do fall. We definitely are going to fall in this business a lot. But what do? You learn, you get back up, you let it go, and you try again. And pretty soon, guys, you are flying down the street with no training wheels, going 100 miles an hour with no fear, right? Like, isn't that is kind of how this whole business works. So you're gonna fail. If we don't fail, guys, we don't grow. You don't know what's gonna work and not gonna work if you don't try it. So fall on your face as many times as you can, learn from it, get back up, forget about whatever happened with it, just learn from it and move forward. So that's a little thing we like to call failing forward, which is a very good PD book if you guys haven't read it. It is called Failing Forward, and I highly recommend it for you guys. Okay, my next tip, and this is guys, and I know this stuff kind of sounds quirky, but I'm seriously, like, it really works. I want you guys to do something different that you've never done before every single week. Like, just try to do something different. And I'm not talking about like jumping out of a plane, unless maybe that's something that you really want to do and you're just scared of doing, but it doesn't have to be drastic. I'm talking about, like, if you sit, how many of you guys sit in the same chair in your living room? Like, y'all have kind of a designated spot, right? Like, kind of everybody likes their little spot. Try sitting in a different part of your living room. Or at work, if you guys are used to sitting in a certain area for meetings or like whatever you might be doing, try to sit in a different spot. Why do I say that? Because it changes your perspective of how you see things. If you sit in a different part of your living room, you might see things that you didn't see before. When you stop to kind of pay attention, no matter where you are or what you're doing, you're going to see things differently. It's all about perspective. So if you do something that you've never done before, you're going to see that act in a completely different way. And it starts this creative process in your mind. It starts opening up your mind. And, you know, go somewhere that you've never gone before. Try a new type of restaurant, a different type of food. Like, just start expanding, guys. Like, this is growing. It's experiencing life. And the more experiences you have, the more you grow and the more you have to share, right? Like, this is a great sharing experience when you are posting and when you're talking to your people, right? Like, it's like, oh my gosh, guys, I went to this restaurant the other night and I have never had this kind of food before. Have you guys ever had this? Like, this was really disgusting. Like, tell me if you like this kind of stuff, because maybe I ordered the wrong thing. Or, oh my God, it was the best thing I ever had. So the more experiences that you have, the more opportunities you have to connect with people on a different level. So do something different. A great example of this was, we had our diamond retreat, our Fit Mama Diamond Retreat in Utah. And that was the theme was kind of like, do something that you've never done, right? So Candace took us and we all went and shot guns. We went to a shooting range. And do you know how many of us girls never shot a gun? Do you know how many of us were terrified to pick up a gun? Thank you very much. That was me. And I'm like, there's no way I can do this. No way I can do this. It walked us through it. We did all this. By the time it was done, I was like, put that target further back. I want to try and hit that. Like, guys, it's just, if you don't do it, you don't experience it, you can't grow. You're never going to know unless you try. So, the other part of that is like, try doing something nice. And I like to say every day, because there's an opportunity every day to make somebody happy, right? But like, write a love note to your spouse or your kids in their lunchbox, or your best friend, send them a little message, or whatever it might be. Try to do something a little out of the ordinary to make somebody else happy. Why do we do that? Because inadvertently, when you make somebody else happy just because, and don't expect anything in return, and you see the smile on that person's face, or you get that message back that was like, oh my God, like my daughter's 27. And so I sent her a little gift in the mail and she wasn't expecting it. And she calls me and she's like almost in tears because she just happened to be having a bad day. And my little gift that cost me no more than $15 that I sent her, a little perfume I sent her, made her day. And she called me crying like, Mom, how did you know? Blah, 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 blah. This just made my whole day. Like, when you inadvertently make somebody happy just because, it makes you happy. And when you are happy, guys, that comes out of you, right? And it exudes energy. And people see that and people are attracted to that. And it wraps around to what this business is all about. This is a selfless business. This business is about helping other people and not expecting anything in return, right? That's what this is. This is what we do. And we are blessed that we have that opportunity and the tools in this business to be able to do that. And the byproduct of that is we get to create a huge business. We get income. We get to make a living doing this by helping people, but it has to come from a place of goodness. So practice that in a smaller level. Okay. Okay. Am I still doing okay on time? Okay. Last tip, guys, I want to go over, and then I want to give you just 2 more little tidbits. So I'm going to, of course, tell you guys to read PD every single day. Personal development is an absolute must. If you don't do personal development, you cannot grow as a person. And sometimes this business can be tough. It is super fun and it is awesome, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. There's nothing in this world I would rather do. But if you don't grow your mind, expand your mind, build your mind, you're not going to grow. We do our workouts every single day, right? Or mostly every single day. We drink our shakes every single day. We do this to nourish our bodies, right? We're getting healthy on the outside. You have to feed your mind in the same way, okay? You have to feed your mind. So personal development is huge. I want you to think about this because this is a quote that I took from, I believe this was from Jim Rohn, but it's, thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become reality. Think about that. Whatever you are thinking is going to transform into what you talk about or how you present yourself, right? How you present yourself, what the things that you talk about, the things that you focus on, the things that you think about in your mind, that becomes who you are. If you're always focusing on, this is too hard and I suck at this, and like, you know, if you're always thinking of the negative stuff, guys, I am a true believer, like I am a hands down true believer in what you put out in the universe is what you get back. So if you put out negative thoughts and you're constantly putting yourself down and you're blaming everything else in the world around you, guess what? You're not going anywhere. And I say that truly out of love, guys. I swear I do. But it's the absolute truth. But if you start changing the way that you think, and you start thinking, turning a negative into a positive, finding the good in something that was bad, you know, learn something from a negative experience you had, putting that twist on it, thinking that you are good enough, I can do this, you know, whatever it might be, even if it's finishing a program. Do you know how hard it is for someone to start and finish a program? You guys do that one time and you get up every day and you tell yourself, I'm going to do this. I can finish this. I'm strong enough. And you finish that program and it changes you. Like, it changes you. And that's the same thing, guys. PD changes you from the inside out, and it's an absolute must. So if you guys are struggling with things like self-confidence, I started with a book, and I know you guys have probably all heard of this, but it's You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. No, I'm not sure if I'm saying her last name right, but I'm sure most of you have heard of it. But if you haven't, and you struggle with self-confidence, there you go. All right, Nathan. So that is a great book. It changed my life, guys. I'm not even kidding you. Like, it started me on a path of like learning how to change my thought process. And then it just kind of went from there. The Art of Exceptional Living by Jim Rohn. If you guys have not listened to that, I highly recommend this one on audio. He has an amazing voice. And some books, you know, you just fall asleep to. Oh no, this one, you will want to hear him talk. I've listened to that audio like a million times. The Art of Exceptional Living by Jim Rohn. I already talked about failing forward. Let's see. Okay, almost done. I'm almost done. So I want to give you guys a couple tips, right? So the first thing, when you guys are having conversations with people, and again, you're being yourself, you're just being real, you're being you. Nobody wants to connect with somebody that's fake. And as much as you guys think you may not have something to talk about or no one's going to relate to you, you'll be surprised how many people relate to you. Nobody talks about it because nobody thinks anybody else is going through the same thing. Put it out there. But when you're starting a conversation, there's a simple little formula that I want to give you guys that I learned from Jessica Pasola. I don't know if you guys know her, but it goes like this. Comment plus compliment plus question equals conversation. So I'm going to say that again. Comment plus compliment plus question equals conversation. So you comment to somebody, say, you know, on their post, or you're in a message, right? Make a comment and give that person a compliment. Same thing if you're in live talking to somebody, okay? Ask a question that leads to conversation. Always end your sentence with a question. Not a yes or no question, a question that makes them give you some sort of information. So that's just something simple. When they give you answers, something that you can respond to is feel, felt, and found. I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way when I was going through blah, 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 blah. And this is what I have found. And then talk a little bit and then end it with a question. Do you know what I mean? Did you feel the same way? that kind of stuff. Those are just a couple tips, guys. And then the last thing I want to tell you guys, and then I will get off of my high horse here. I just want to tell you that difficult times, difficult moments, hard things build your character. So just do the things that are hard. If you're scared, guys, everybody's scared. Just do it. Just do it. It's going to make you stronger for it. And then one of the biggest things that I can tell you guys right now, never, ever, 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 ever compare yourself with anybody else. Okay? Never. You are not them. They are not you. Never compare to yourself with what another coach is doing because they're moving faster or they have more of this or you think they're doing it better or whatever. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. It's disaster. Like, you don't want to go there. Okay. And that was one of the things that held me back. That's why I've been in this business for 20 months and, you know, I'm sitting at Diamond and pushing for 3-star, like boom, all in the same like breath. But I let that hold me back because I felt that what I was doing wasn't going to work because it wasn't as good as somebody else over here. And then, well, why are they moving so much faster than me? And what am I doing wrong? Don't do it. Never compare yourself to anybody else, guys. You be yourself. You be you. Everybody else is taken. So you just be you. Okay? That's all I have, guys.
Oh my
Questions?
God, I love that. Oh, that was so incredible. I took so many notes. So first of all, I absolutely loved how you said just smile, make eye contact with people, like wherever you are, because so like basically we're the same person, because I used to be like, I wouldn't make eye contact. My head would be down. I'd be like, don't talk to me. Like, I don't want anyone to even know I'm here. Like, go away. So that's something that I've actually been noticing that I've been doing more of. I don't even know, maybe because I am building confidence. Like, I don't even know why, but I'll never forget. There was a day, it was at some point last year. I was walking from my car to go to work, and there was a guy who was always standing in front of the parking garage this was when I worked at Children's Hospital, and he would always stand outside in the cold, like no matter what the weather was like, he would just stand there. I don't even know why, quite honestly. So I walked by him like a lot. And then one day I just looked at him and I was like, hi, like, how are you doing? And he like looked confused at first, but then like his face lit up and he was like, I'm really good. Like, how are you? Like, it was like, I totally made his day by acknowledging that he was even there. And that made me feel better. I was like, oh, like I felt really good after that, and like changed my day. And every time I've done it since then, just like randomly striking up a conversation with people, like there are literally some days when I'll be like in the grocery store, like waiting in line. And like, sometimes I'll be like, start to like sweat and be like, oh, I feel like I should start a conversation with somebody right now. And like, sometimes I don't do it, but other times I'll do it. And I'm like, oh my God, like that was so not even hard to do. Like, what is my problem? Why do I make this out to be like so hard? But it's not. And then the days that you do it, you're like, I could talk to anyone right now. Like, it totally boosts your confidence.
So when you do that, Jackie, like, so the reason why, and I, guys, I still get in that same mode sometimes, right? Like, I'm like, oh my God, I really need to be, but you have to come from a different place when you do that. You just genuinely have to come from a place of being genuine. Like, you just want to say hi, like, oh my, like, you know, just, how are you? Like, whatever it is, like, oh my God, those shoes are amazing. I saw this girl in the convenience store today, and she had on Victoria's Secret leggings. And I fell in love with them. I'm like, oh my God, I love your leggings. I'm like, I have to get some of those. And it didn't go anywhere. She was just like, oh, thanks. Like, you know, she probably thought I was a cuckoo bird, but she smiled and said hi, you know, and like, it was a short conversation and she ran out the door. But I could see like the little, you know, it made her feel good. Like, she knew she probably looked good, but when you just have somebody compliment you for no reason out of the blue, like think about if somebody said something to you. What if you were having a bad day? Like you guys have those bad days and then somebody just maybe like, you know, oh my God, like Jen, you look so pretty today. And like, I probably think I look like a disaster and it just makes you feel better. Or somebody's just nice to you for no reason. Like, doesn't it just make you feel better? And that's the place that you have to come from. You can't think of it as, okay, where is this going to go? Where is this going to lead?
Yep.
It doesn't matter.
And
it doesn't
that's
matter.
too much pressure on you too.
Yeah.
If you're constantly thinking like, is this person going to be like a customer or not? Like, no, that should not be what you're thinking.
That's not what you're thinking. You're just thinking of like, how can I make somebody happy today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. And what Laura commented, she said, do the things that are hard. Like, it's so true. Where did I write it down? Where you said, when you do hard things, that's what make you grow in character. I think that's what you said. And it's so true. I'm sure all of us have at some point in our lives done something that we thought we could never do before, or that we were afraid of, or that was really hard. And when you accomplish that, it completely changes you. Like what your example of completing a program from start to finish, like that's freaking hard. Most of these programs you're working out like 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. That's a lot. That's a hard change to make. And you're doing it for 30, 60, 90 days. Like that's a long commitment. But when you commit to something and you actually successfully complete it, like that feeling of accomplishment, like you feel unstoppable and you're like, what can I do next? Like it just changes your level of belief and confidence in yourself, and that changes the way you talk to other people and you present yourself to other people. Like I think that's why such a big part of coaching, like that's why being the proof the product works is one of our vital behaviors, because when you are proof the products work, like you literally want to shout from the rooftops, like, oh my God, like you need to do this because like, the way I feel right now is incredible.
Yeah.
And you're not lying. Like it's true.
But when you mess up, like admit it, guys. Like nobody is perfect. So never, like, don't ever portray yourself as trying to be perfect, because nobody recognizes that person. Right. So, you know, you screw up, like, just admit it. Like I went on a really bad run and I missed 3 workouts this week and I ate friggin' half the pizza shop, and like whatever it is, like those are the things that people want to hear about, right? Because you're like, oh, so she is a real person. Like, oh, she's not like this robot. Because when I started this, like I was scared. I'm like, okay, well, I'm a coach now. I have to be like perfect and I have to look like a certain way. Hooey, no, you don't. Like you're you, right? And that's if you don't share those things, people are not going to relate to you. Because I had so many people go, oh my gosh, Jen, like I really admire you for your dedication, but there is no way I can do what you do. And I'm like, why not? They're like, oh, well, you eat right every day and you work out every single day. And in the back of my mind, I'm going, no, I don't. And then I realized I wasn't sharing that part of my life. I wasn't sharing the down part, you know? And so you learn, right? And I changed that, and people start, you know, realizing that you are just a normal person and that you can help them because you're going through the same struggles and you deal with the same things that they do. So
yes, that is so
have a tendency to like,
I know. Well, and that's such a good point too, because like you're so much more relatable to other people if you're making mistakes, or like you're not, like a lot of people are afraid of failure. So if they're constantly seeing you, and if they're seeing you and you're looking like you're not failing, they're not going to want to come to you, because they're going to, well, okay, this is how my mind works. But like, if I saw someone, if I like wasn't a coach right now and I saw someone who like always looked like they were like doing their workouts and eating healthy and like they did nothing wrong, I would be intimidated by them, because I wouldn't want to work with them, because if I failed, I would be too afraid to tell them that. And like, that's not the relationship that you want with people. You want people to know, like, I make mistakes too, but this is a journey. This isn't like
And
Like,
this is how I'm fixing it. I screwed up, but here's how I'm fixing it.
Yeah. And that's so, so important. And Lauren, I love your comment. Do you happen to know what that podcast was called? She said how Shalene does a great podcast about how being shy as an adult can come across as being snobby or arrogant.
Yes. It is the confidence. It's called the confidence. Oh my gosh. Like, I'll find it and I can send it to you, but it's called the confidence, something about, it's, I don't know. I'll find it. I know exactly which one it was.
I wonder if it's the one when she's talking about her Courageous Confidence Club, maybe, but
that might, yeah, that's totally it. Because she puts you go through a profile and like you figure out like what kind of a person, and like, so people that think maybe that they're like really introverted, but they're, you know, they're not, or you can be a combination of people. But yes, how you like, if you're that way in public, like people can definitely think that you're being snobby or that think you're too good for people, when really it is like you're just scared to talk to people.
Yeah. Which, what I would say to that is be open about being that way. Because like that kind of brings me back to the call we had with Haley, because she's always talking about how she's like super introverted, like had anxiety, like didn't like hated selfies, like never wanted to be the center of attention. But now she got to a point when she was like, F it, like I don't like my life right now. I'm going to go for this and actually like grow this so that I can quit my other jobs. And she constantly is posting about how she's uncomfortable doing the things we have to do. She's introverted. Like she doesn't like going live. She'll say it on her live videos, just like say how uncomfortable she feels. And I used to think she was snobby. But now that she's open about it, I'm like, oh my God, I get it. Like that's how I feel. And I can understand how it can come off that way when you don't know that. Mm-hmm. So like, if that's how you are, be open about that. Cause that's how I am. So like, I want to start talking about that more because I want to attract people like me to me. So, you know, people who are like you, if you start like talking about that kind of thing, they're gonna, I mean, I hope that people aren't like, you know, like you are the most non-snobby or arrogant person like ever. But, you know, if people feel that way, if you like share it, they maybe will be like, oh, okay, like maybe it's this instead of what I thought or something like that. If that makes any sense.
And then you can attract different people that way. They don't have to be just like you. I mean, you're going to attract people that are like, you know, oh, I didn't realize that she was like that. Maybe their personalities are completely different than yours, but by opening up to that and like learning how to break out of that, you're going to attract different types of people that maybe you normally never would. Mm-hmm. So.
I know, it's true. Does anyone have any questions or other comments you want to share or ask? Does that make sense? I loved your PD recommendations. They're so good.
I have 100.
I know, I do too. It's like,
I tried to nail it down to some good ones to start with.
Yeah, that has been a total game changer for me. Mm-hmm. Total game changer.
There is another one. Actually, Jackie, you know what? We should probably share this one. It's a 90-minute from Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. Mm-hmm. It's the one that we're doing.
Yes.
I think that's really a good thing for people to listen to.
I agree. It's short.
It's short.
It's
and of course,
so powerful. Like he's just so powerful. Mm-hmm. He's so awesome. Powerful.
Yeah.
Shyness is rude. Oh, thank you.
Yes.
The Shalene Show. Shyness is rude. Okay. Yes. Definitely gonna want to listen to that again. Yeah. Thank you. And it's not rude. I'm just kidding. Oh my God. I'm like ridiculous. So I love Shalene and I've listened to her podcast, and there was one where she talks about how parents can not intentionally like, so basically growing up, everyone used to call me the shy or the quiet girl, and I grew up believing that. So like that has held me back in a lot of ways. Like I've felt like I can't, like I'm too afraid to talk to people. Like I didn't want to be the center of attention. Like I believe that I like can't make small talk and like all these stupid things. And in her episode, she was talking about how like parents who like comment and say like, oh, she's shy or like she's quiet, like you're kind of, I don't want to say screwing them up because that's really harsh, but you know what I mean? Like you're instilling a belief in them. And like that happened for me. Like, so, and anytime I hear someone call someone shy, I'm like, I like get angry. I'm like, do not call them shy. Like it's okay if she wants to be quiet, or if like, it's okay if she like doesn't want to talk. I'm like, I take it very personally now. Yeah. I'm like, don't do that to them.
Yeah, I feel you. That's the same thing. That's how I grew up. So yeah.
Anyway. And yeah, your feel, felt, found, that's such a simple but like a great conversation, because you want to be asking people questions to get them to say how they feel. Obviously, if it doesn't relate to you, you're not going to use feel, felt, found. Like if you haven't felt it, you're not going to say that. But if you have, you're taking what they felt, they're feeling, you're saying that you can relate because you felt that way. Like maybe you can give an example. And then by saying, here's what I've found, and like explaining to them how you've found a way around it or found a way to improve it or like whatever, like that is going to give them hope that, okay, I have this feeling right now. It sounds like you had something similar and you were able to overcome it. Okay, what do I have to do? Like that can just be what they need to hear to have them trust that you can help them change that.
And sometimes it may not be something that you dealt with directly. So, you know, sometimes people will have an issue, but maybe you've known somebody that's gone through the same thing. So you can still kind of use that. You can still use that. You just use it in a different way. Like, you know, I can only imagine how you feel. You know, I had a friend of mine and, you know, she felt a lot of like what you're just saying. And this is what so when she went through this is how she kind of combated that. So it doesn't always have to be, but if you have any kind of insight, now you don't want to, obviously you don't want to like try and talk about something that you have no connection with at all. But, you know, if you know somebody that's gone through some kind of an issue like that, share like what they did. It doesn't always have to be from you.
That's such a good point. Oh, I love this. This was so awesome. Does anyone have any questions or anything else to add?
I had a quick thing. It kind of goes along with the feel, felt, found. Sorry, I'm just walking in the other room so you don't hear the TV. That works so awesome when it comes to objections about our products. I find I use that all the time when people object to the cost of Shakeology, and I say, you know what? I feel you. I felt the same way, but I tried it for a month because there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and it completely changed my mind, and this is why. So they can relate to you. They realize you're not just pushing the product, but you understand their objections, and this is why you still use the product, and why, you know, they realize, like, some people think like, oh, you get Shakeology for free. Well, that wasn't the case in the beginning. You know, now like now I do because I've worked the business, but in the beginning I wasn't, and I still drank it because I felt this, you know, A, B, and C. You know, it did A, B, and C for me. And I feel like that helps people come around and realize you're not just trying to sell it to them, but that you care about them and that you understand how they're feeling, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Great tip, Danielle. Awesome.
Yay. Well, if no one else has any questions, this was like totally awesome. Thank you so much. I loved your tips.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all very much.
And thanks for giving us your time. Yeah, this was so helpful.
Yay.
All right. Well, I hope you all have an awesome night. And yeah, let's go make it National Wake Up Call. Let's make it a great week. All right. Have a good night,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.